All right. So good morning. Well, it is good morning. It's a nice Sunday morning, but you won't there in listening land get to hear this until a Monday morning. But good morning and welcome to Fearless, Inspired, and Free. And this is Dana Wright and signing in for another episode, another podcast with another wonderful, wonderful guest. As you all know, I always find some of the most phenomenal women to talk to, and this week isn't any different. This week, my guest is Jennifer Matthews. And Jennifer is a single mother of one 9-year-old son. And I think that speaking for Jennifer, and she can correct me if she's wrong, is probably one of her best accomplishments and one of her most favorite jobs is being a mom to her son. But what I can tell you about Jennifer is that she's also a woman who continues, like all of our other guests have, to beat the odds, jump over hurdles, continue to do her best to better herself, educate herself. And in doing that, she's providing the best life she can for her son. She is, and I'm going to run down some of her educational things right now because, or accomplishments, because one, they're relevant. But two, I just find them so impressive. So she has a Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice, and she has a master's of management with specialization in law enforcement administration. She has a master's of philosophy in criminal justice. And then, as if that wasn't enough, Jennifer then went ahead to get into a PhD program. So she is a PhD candidate in criminal justice with specialization in criminal justice administration. So what I do know from just letting everyone know that is that there's a real interest here in criminal justice. That's where she focuses her life. I'm sure she has plenty to say about everything going on today and the reforms, but we'll have to do a part two with Jennifer to hear about that. We're going to talk about something like, I always talk to the women about their background and then growing up. So we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to Jennifer and something that she's also on her life's journey right now. In addition to being a single mom and getting her education, she is currently working towards being a better, healthier version of Jennifer. She says that she has struggled her entire life with obesity. And I think a lot of us can relate to that because it's such a focal point in our society, one. And I think that growing up, we've had I think it's been just like kind of a negative thing if weren't stick thin. We grew up in an era where if we weren't stick thin, then a lot came with that, a lot with the bullying, a lot with the I don't feel good about myself and things like that. And I feel like making ourselves whole and getting healthier can make us better for our kids. But I'm going to let Jennifer tell you about her journey. So Jennifer, you are going to school, you are working, you are doing things like taking your son to his piano and swimming, but you're also working right now to kind of tackle something that's been a lifelong struggle for you. So tell us about, you growing up. Tell us a little bit about the story and how you came to this present place. And you're going to tell us the amazing results you got by doing this. You've probably tried a lot of things, so just run us through your life and what you've tried in the past and what kinds of things have taken place in what you're doing now.
So growing up, I've always been overweight, like for the most part, not everybody, but for the most part, everybody in my family is overweight. Like growing up, I will say that. For example, one of my aunts, like a great aunt, she was bedridden. And I saw that growing up as a child. Of course, I didn't think anything of it, but like as an adult, I see that as a problem now. But that's what I saw as a child. So that's what I grew up seeing, like everybody is being overweight. So as a child, I didn't think anything like was officially like wrong with it. I just thought, we were normal people. But as I got older, I realized I was obese, going to the doctor for annual checkups. They would tell me I was obese. And then even like with my son, when I got pregnant with him, I was actually 30 years old, and the doctors would tell me, you're overweight, you're obese, something's going to be wrong with your son. You're so overweight. And I was like, dang, am I that big? And in my eyes, I wasn't. I wasn't bedridden. I didn't think, I was a sumo wrestler or anything. And I was about 200, maybe 220, something like that at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I was that big, but they were like, I felt like I was shaking the ground the way they was talking to me.
Yeah, sometimes when you go to the doctor, they'll talk to you. And I know they're trying to do their best, but they do scare you a little bit, right?
Yeah, they did it.
Yeah.
They did it.
And if you don't mind me asking, how tall are you, Jennifer?
I am 5'3".
Okay, so I think what they do is they use, and you'll tell us, do they use like a height weight scale? Because I have been told that before as well. Like you're obese, your BMI is a little high, and things like that. And so they use a scale with height, weight, and then body fat and things like that. So there's a formula that they use.
Definitely.
I do think that body structure and body makeup sometimes different across the board with women, but they paint us all with the same brush.
They definitely do. And I came to find out that later from a different doctor, that it was like painted from like a generic brush, like you said. That's what I come to find out later, because this was back in 2012 when I had my son. So that like I was coming in there for my checkups and they were just like, you're so overweight, you're this, you're that. And the ironic thing about that, when I was pregnant with my son, I was losing weight for the first time ever in my life.
Wow, while you were pregnant?
While I was pregnant.
How does that happen?
And it was the craziest thing. And that's what they were saying. So mind you, so I'm coming in here initially, when you go in initially, they're like, they take your vitals and everything. They're like, oh my gosh, you're so overweight. You're so overweight. And so then like the next time I come in there, they're like, oh, you lost 4 pounds. You lost 6 pounds. And I'm like, wait a minute, how am I losing weight? And I'm pregnant. But it was him. It was my son. He was, taking up the nutrition, so that's how I was doing it at the time. But I was overweight, but over like my pregnancy, I only gained like 12 pounds because he was using up all the energy, the food, everything. But let them tell it, I was obese, so I guess it was a good thing.
So you were eating normally?
Absolutely normal.
So you didn't change your diet at that point?
No, I wasn't like eating extra, not saying I was starving. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I was starving or anything. I was eating like 3 meals, snacks, whatever, but I wasn't like going to town. I wasn't going to buffets every meal or anything.
Sure.
But I was actually losing weight in the beginning. So
you might want to be one of the first women we ever hear. Because that is just a trick that I wasn't able to do. I did not.
I was an anomaly. I kid you not. I was what they call it, a unicorn. I was a unicorn because it was the first I had ever heard of it. But that was like in the first, I want to say like 2-3 months, I was losing weight. And then like overall, it was like a total of 12 pounds. But let them tell it I was obese. So I guess it was a good thing. Let them tell it.
Well, during pregnancy, they probably were like, no, not now. Let's wait.
But I wasn't trying. Wow. I was just being normal. I wasn't trying to lose weight at that time. I was just being normal,
That's so strange.
It was crazy. Yeah. So then fast forward, I was, still like eating normal, but I was gaining weight. He was gone, he was born at that time. So I'm eating normal, but now I'm gaining weight like I have been all these years. And, so I was higher weight at that time. I had got up to about 280, 282.
And this is still normal to you, Jennifer, because your family, obviously, this is like a way, like generational. This is generational.
Absolutely.
So you're still.
Don't get me wrong. I was fat. Don't get me wrong. I was fat. I felt like I was fat, but I wasn't thinking like I'm like, like I said, like a sumo wrestler. Like I think that's like, like a or bedridden. I'm thinking like it's just like out of control. I'll say that.
So now that's a good point. So because when you were little and weight that seemed to be to their detriment was people who were
Exactly.
bedridden. That was your marker. You're like, I'm okay
Exactly.
because I can walk. I'm okay. Like,
Exactly.
somebody may see something, may see it in me. I may see a little bit of, but one is it's normal for my family. And two, I am able to care for myself and I'm not in bed. So I'm still okay. So
Exactly.
that was your okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. That was my marker. Yep, that's a
Got
great
it.
way to measure it. That was my marker. But that I knew what skinny looked like. I knew what thinner than me looked like. I knew that I wanted to look good in my clothes. That was like for me, like I didn't want to be like a size 2. I didn't want to be like a size 4. I always knew if I could just look good in my clothes, that was my thing. I just want to look good in my clothes. So I've dieted before. I've tried Weight Watchers, and I was successful on Weight Watchers, but I didn't stick with it. I've tried like they call them fat doctors. I've tried that
Mm-hmm.
before. I did not
Mm-hmm.
have success with fat doctors. I've tried like different pills, what they call it, like the raspberry ketones.
Oh,
I've
okay.
tried
Okay.
Slim Fast. I've tried what else? All different kind of stuff. The protein shakes. I've tried the protein bars. I tried almost everything you can think of.
So
Um,
everything in the book you've tried
yes,
to take it off and maintain it. One thing you just said is you didn't want to be skinny, like you don't want to
never.
be real thin.
I
You
never
just
wanted
you
that.
wanted to be healthy and you wanted to look good and feel good in what you had on.
That is
Now,
exactly what I wanted.
in this time when you were in your journey and you were, up and down and things like that, I know the doctor said that you're obese based on the markers that they were using, but was anything ever unhealthy with you? Was your blood pressure high? Did you have diabetes? Did you have any of those things associated
Never,
sometimes with? Okay, so you were still
never.
fairly healthy. You just
Always.
okay. Okay, that's good to
Always.
know
I
too. Okay.
never had any, and as far as medical issues, and I
Mm-hmm.
always go to the doctor on a regular basis, annually, I'll say that. Um, Never any blood work or anything came back negative or high in a red zone, nothing like that. Never.
So this is
I
basically
always did it for my own personal health or, own personal mind. I was doing the dieting.
okay. And so that just means that, like you said from the beginning, this is basically a family. Some families are larger, some families are smaller, some families, and
Absolutely.
we have to work to get to the point we want to, but you're healthy. And that's the point that I want to make for listeners is that you were healthy, you were getting your checkups, everything was coming up. The doctors were just saying, hey, this is where the markers have you. And you are
Absolutely.
trying everything to kind of get within a kind of that place that you felt comfortable. Maybe even the physicians felt a little more comfortable when they saw you. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
And I
Oh,
even felt like I was cutting back on my eating. I exercise, like I joined gyms. I even had like a personal trainer and I lost weight with my personal trainer. We had like a 6-week challenge. I even won the 6-week challenge. I lost weight, but I couldn't keep it off. Like after that challenge,
mhm.
I gained it all back.
Wow. So, you've tried everything. And then it sounds like you had a friend that said, hey, there's one more thing you could try, essentially. Here's one more thing you can try. And so she kind of referred you somewhere. How'd that
So
go?
this was in 2019. A friend of mine was telling me about her boyfriend. So he was losing weight with a doctor. And I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? This miracle doctor.
Because you've
And
tried everything.
exactly. I'm like, I tried everything. What are you saying about this miracle doctor? So she was saying her boyfriend went to this doctor. And so he doesn't just help you lose weight. He examines your blood work and finds out what is the problem, why you aren't losing weight, and adjusts your diet or whatever so that you can lose weight and keep it off. And I'm like, well, what? This sounds new to me because I tried everything. So if he gonna do something new, then I'm willing to try him out.
Awesome. Yeah. So here, let me, so blood work. So there's a book
Yes.
out called Eat According to Your Type. And
Okay.
it's about your blood type. So whether you're
Mm-hmm.
A, or O, or B, this book will break down the foods that are conducive to your blood and things like that. So for example, I think there's some validity to it. I bought it, and this was years ago,
Okay.
and I don't eat meat, so
Oh,
I
okay.
eat fish, but off and on throughout the years, I've gone from, a meat eater to a vegetarian to a vegan to back to vegetarian. So now I call myself a pescatarian. I don't do a whole lot of dairy, don't drink milk or anything like that. But in this book, I picked it up and I'm an A. And it said, and my favorites are like pineapples and stuff like that. I promise you, Jennifer, it
Mm-hmm.
said that the A blood type should not eat meat.
Mm,
Our blood type has less acidity than the other blood types. So there's blood types that are good with meat and their body can break it down. And then there's
wow.
some that aren't. And so and it told me what I should be eating. And I don't know if I lost weight, but I did, because I didn't get it for that. I really wanted to be healthy, how I would eat. Literally, though, when I ate like this book told me to, I felt better mentally
Wow.
and physically. So I think there's some validity. So you took a blood test with this doctor.
I did. And
Okay.
he read it off to me. And he was telling me, and I don't quote me, but I want to say it's the word. I forget now because this is 2019 and we hadn't talked about this word. But I want to say it's like the Lipitor trans, it's a Lipitor, it's a Lipitor, um, it's a Lipitor something.
So
But
it's
they're
a lipid
damaged.
test. It's a lipid test, like something with
No,
your
it's
lipids
the
in your blood.
Lipitor, the transmitter thing. It's something in my Lipitor. It's a I forget the word. I forget the word, but whatever that Lipitor thing is
Mm-hmm.
in me is damaged.
Oh, okay.
Is damaged. So no matter what I did, my body would fight me. So that no matter what I did, my body wanted to be fat, is what he told me. No matter if I stopped eating, no matter if I exercised, my body was fighting me to be fat. And I
Wow.
said, this makes sense.
Oh my goodness, I've never
Mm-hmm.
heard of it. I would love, so after the show, you'll have to send me
I will
that,
ask because I'll see
tell
him.
that word.
I'll see him this Thursday and I'll tell you the word. He'll
Okay,
tell me
awesome.
because he
Awesome.
told me and I just forget the word because we hadn't talked about it since then.
Okay.
I'll get the word, what he told me. I forget the word, but I'll see him Thursday and I'll write it down and I'll tell you. I'll email it to you.
Awesome.
He told me they're damaged. And he said, no matter what I was doing, my body kept fighting me to be fat. And I said, this makes so much sense because I would do everything that I was supposed to do, but I kept being fat. I said, this makes so much sense. So it wasn't that I wasn't trying. It wasn't that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. Is that my body wanted to be fat. Like, despite all my best efforts, my body was like, no, you're supposed to be fat. So I was doing it and my body was like, nope, you're going to be fat.
Wow.
I want to call it lipid transmitters. I want to call it that, but like I said, don't quote me. I'll get you the exact word on Thursday.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm
Because I'll
gonna
see
Google
him.
that, but I'll wait for you too.
I'll get the exact word in. So don't quote me yet. Let me get it for you on Thursday.
So he tells you this, he gets the results of your blood work. You tell him your journey, you tell him everything you've tried. And he says,
Yeah.
because of this, this is what's happening.
Yes.
This is why your results are one, short-lived, or two, you haven't worked at all. It's because
Exactly.
your body's fighting against itself.
Yep.
And so his thing is by doing this blood work, he can find something that will work to kind of balance this
Yes.
this thing that's kind of off in your body.
Yep.
Got
He
it.
put me on the keto diet and he told me to do moderate exercise.
Okay,
And so
this was your first intro to the keto diet. So he introduced
very
you to it.
first, I never
Okay.
had tried it before prior to him. Never. I
Okay.
had heard about it, but I never tried it.
Okay. And so he gave you a little education about the keto diet.
Yeah, he told me about it briefly, and then he gave me like I want to say like 2 or 3 sheets of paper on it so that I could read up on it and like figure out a meal plan that would work for me on that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so
then,
he gave you a food list. So
yeah,
he kind of told you, okay, so he told you pick from these.
Yep.
And he kind of told you, and you'll have to break it down for us,
sure.
Like beginners, is, so you got a food list. He told you like what times to eat or how to eat. And then
he didn't tell me what time. No,
okay.
Just,
so there is nothing like
the food
that.
list. No, he didn't tell me that.
Okay.
He just said, this is the food to eat.
Got it. And so he said, and do moderate exercise. So did he
Yes.
want you to just ease into exercise, or he said that was enough to kind of balance
He just
everything?
said, just do moderate exercise. That's
Did he
all
give you
said.
an idea of what moderate exercise meant
Yeah, he said like 30, 45 minutes a day.
of cardio?
He just said whatever I wanted.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
He was, I love him because he's not like a browbeater. He's like, whatever you want. You know, he's real laid back. He's real, just kind of just make it work for you type of doctor.
So he's not stressing you out like the other doctors.
No,
He's also
no.
giving you a few tests and giving you a little kind of a point of reference, so you kind of know why you've been struggling the way you have based on
Yes.
your blood work. So now you have this comfort level with him.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. I love him.
Okay,
Yes.
so for the listeners, I talked to a variety of women. I think I told you about a past guest, April, who also went through a transformation, and then she did things differently, and she had to address her mind, body, and spirit because she had some trauma and she had some other things, and she said that kept some weight on her. And then she did her program, and then she exercised. So she did a mind, body, and spirit thing. And I say all that to say is we're going to talk about your keto diet this morning, but I don't endorse any of these diets. These are all things that work for you, that work for the women I'm talking to. But for you, Jennifer, this has worked for you. And when we're talking about the keto diet, I did some research on it. And originally it sounds like, and I went to the University of Chicago like website, and there's a little article there, and it talked about it being it's strict, and they say it's difficult to maintain, but this doctor kind of didn't put stress on you, so you didn't feel that up front. But it said,
Never.
okay, but it says the keto diet was primarily used to manage seizures in children with epilepsy early on, but we have established with you there was no, you didn't have any issues that were contributing to the weight that you were carrying. So we have that out there, but it says, what is ketosis? So ketosis is a metabolic adaptation to allow your body to survive a period of famine. Your body will break down ketone bodies, a type of fuel the liver produces from fat instead of sugar or glucose from carbohydrates. Does that sound right? Okay.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So here, and you're going to tell us your journey, but here it says that to get in ketosis, you have to be eating 75% from fat, compared to we normally do 20 to 35 percent, and then 5% of your calories from carbs, and then 15 or so from protein. Does that sound like what that? Okay, so this
absolutely.
Is it similar to the Atkins? Because back in the day, there was this Atkins diet that people were doing. Is that a similar diet?
It is similar, yes.
Okay, so I've done a little basis just for the listeners so they understand what the doctor told you. So you get your list. He says moderate exercise, and he tells you go on your way, or how does it go next?
That's exactly what he did. But with him, he wanted me to check in on a monthly basis so that he could monitor my progress. And monitoring, it did not mean like he was going to like do blood work every month or anything like that. The blood work would come like once every 6 months. And then he would weigh me every month, and then just do vitals like blood pressure, heart monitoring, stuff like that, and just make sure that I was on track.
So he wanted to make sure you're still healthy while you were doing this.
Absolutely.
Did he give a time period for how long you should do the keto diet? Did he say you should break it up? So did you go hard did he say go hard in the beginning, like 6 months and then stop? Or
he did not say that. He just said, he said, what is my goal? That's what he said. So it was always, let's do this till you reach your goal, and then we will reevaluate.
Okay.
So I always told him my goal was 100 pounds. And he was like, we'll see. He always told me, we'll see. Because he's so no pressure. He's so no pressure. So he was like, we'll see. So every month it would be, we'll see. We'll come back in a month and we'll see. That's what he would always tell me. So, so the first month, from my first initial visit to my next visit was 30 days later, I lost 21 pounds.
In 1 month.
In 1 month, so 30 days.
of actual weight, or is that water weight? Like what? So that's that.
That was pounds.
So you visually saw, so I'm sure you visually saw that.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
so a month means 4 weeks. So for 4 weeks, so did you follow this pretty strictly? Did you eat
I
only
followed
from
it
the
very
list?
strictly. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And
I followed it very strictly.
so it sounds like what are some of the foods, the high fat foods that you are eating or you ate for that first period?
So I would eat like eggs with cheese and butter. That was like one of my go-to meals, but I love eggs. And I meet a lot of people, they be like, I don't like eggs. But for me, I love eggs. So that was like for me a no-brainer. Sausage, hot dogs. I like ground turkey. So I would love to make like a taco bowl. So a taco bowl for me is ground turkey, salsa, sour cream, cheese. That's a taco bowl
So
for
those are
me.
the high fat things. Now,
Absolutely.
there's some things that are high fat that are considered healthier, and there's some things that have a lot of saturated fat that people say to stay away from for long, prolonged periods of time.
Right.
Did he tell you the difference between a couple of those so you knew when you were eating like the fats that were considered like not high saturated? Because I know cheese is was one of the things where they say it's high fat and
Well, I would say everything in moderation. So
okay.
I'm not eating a whole bowl of cheese.
Yes. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like
Yes.
that's what I mean. But I will eat like more in the meal. I will have more ground turkey than I would cheese.
And no chips. You're not eating the chips because this
No,
this diet restricts carbs.
absolutely.
Got it.
So
Okay.
no chips. That's what I mean, like a bowl. So I would
Mm-hmm.
put everything in a bowl. So
Mm-hmm.
the bowl would be like the holder versus like a tortilla shell.
Okay. So the first month is down. You go back. You're 21 pounds lighter,
Yep, he couldn't
and
believe it.
I
He
can't
was
believe
shocked.
it.
He was shocked. Yeah.
So
He
he
was like,
said
what?
you were serious. That's when he knew you were
Yes.
serious about kind of
Yep.
coming down on your weight
Yeah.
and things like that. Okay. So you did 21,
Hmm.
and um you so you're 6 months in now and you're going
Yep.
back monthly. And at
Yep.
that 6 month period,
Yep.
how many in total had you been down since you had
72 pounds.
72 pounds? So
Hmm.
this was in 2019.
This was in 2019. Yes.
So in 2019, within 6 months, you lost 72 pounds. Tell me what that feels like. Tell me how your life changes. Now, first of all, did you ever experience any fatigue, any headaches? Sometimes when we change our eating, and they have said that some of the side effects sometimes when you eat this way
Right.
could be like brain fog and things. I don't know how much brain fog you could have had in a PhD program, but here we are. I have to ask.
I did not
So
have
none of that.
any of the brain fog, but what I will say, because you have to have your electrolytes. So the electrolytes is like the pink Himalayan salts, the potassium. So I would take like potassium pills. And then like I season my food with pink Himalayan salt. So I did not experience any of the fog, any of that, because I stayed fortified with the electrolytes.
That's good
And
to
then
know.
I love water. You got to drink water on the keto diet. You have to. That's a
Okay.
must.
How
So
much do you drink a day, you think?
I was just literally just about to say that. So I'm good for a good gallon. You don't have
Wow.
to drink a gallon, but I will. I'll drink a
So
gallon and not think twice about it.
So it sounds like although you're doing some high fat foods, and there are some people out there that'll say, I'm a little worried because it's high fat and they
Yeah,
talk about the heart. It sounds like you're also balancing that out with some natural minerals to kind of restore that
absolutely.
into your body through the Himalayan
Yes,
salt and potassium. But everyone knows that water is a healer, and drinking that amount of water will also help you keep your weight down too, because it's
it
kind of
sure
flushing out
will.
toxins and things like that. So in honor of you, everybody listening, I told Jennifer I brought my alkaline water to
Yes.
this podcast this morning, but I told her in full disclosure, and she does not do coffee. So
No, I
she
don't drink
is,
coffee. That's just a personal preference, though. It has nothing to
yeah.
do with the diet.
Okay, so I'm like, well, I still have to have my coffee, girlfriend, but I did bring my water. And today, just because I'm talking to you, I think I'm going to focus more on my water because it sounds like water really does help. So
It does.
72 pounds down in 2019.
Yes,
You're still doing all the things, the mommies do. You're running your son around,
definitely.
you're working, you're in school, obviously. Um, and all those things can be stressful. And for me, I
Yeah.
find that I'm a stress eater. Okay. Whatever diet I'm on, whatever, sometimes that goes out of the window because I'm a stress eater. So
hmm
when you're doing this keto diet and you're seeing such great results, which I know is a motivator, so
Yeah,
that kind of keeps you on track too. But what are some of the things you did do to stay on track, Jennifer? Because life is what it is, and then you're
it
running around.
is.
So, how do you stay on track? Do you pack your foods? Do you plan your foods? Like, what do you do to kind of stay on track?
So there are like keto snacks that you can have to stay on track. So there are keto like alcoholic drinks. So they're like the Trulies, the White Claws. So those are alcoholic beverages that you can have and stay on track.
Oh, okay.
There are also like skinny syrups that you can add to like a vodka, to like a like a vodka, or like a I can't think of the other one, like a pure alcohol, and add a skinny syrup to it to still stay on track with keto.
So you
Or
can still
even,
have a good time and have cocktails with your
oh
girlfriends.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. You just bring it
Okay.
with you. Look, you
Okay.
just bring it with you.
So what you're saying is whether it's a cocktail or whether it's food, sometimes when you're trying to stay on track, you have to pack your stuff up and just bring it with.
Got to bring it with you. Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. You
Okay.
can't, don't negate a good time just because you're on keto, is what I'm saying.
Sure. Okay.
You do
Got
not
it.
have to do that.
Okay.
Never. I couldn't do it if that was the case.
Right. So you incorporated this as a lifestyle. And do you stay
Absolutely.
on it constantly or do you give yourself a break and allow yourself to have fruits, vegetables, a salad sometimes? Because I know that in this diet, they like take out the fruits, the grains, and things
They
like that.
definitely do.
So do you put it in sometimes just so you can maintain that balance in your life and you've learned how to kind of look at it and know what's too much and things like that?
So what I did, well, this is now. So in those 6 months, I will say I went hard for those 6 months, but I had a goal in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So for those 6 months, I went hard. But now that I'm just maintaining and trying to find out where do I want to be as far as what do I want to keep the weight at now, I'm just trying to maintain that. So now I call them cheat days. So I'll pick a day, or let's say it's an event coming up, someone's birthday or a girl's night, whatever it may be. I'll have that cheat day and I'll just enjoy myself, and then I'll go back to it like the next day.
And you don't stress yourself out about it. You just say, okay, this is my
Absolutely
day, and
not.
then I'll go back. Good, because I think sometimes we get into these diets and then it's like alters our life and then it doesn't work. But it sounds like you
Mhm.
found a great way to kind of balance and keep it part of your life and keep your goal. So you were down 72 pounds in 6 months. Fast forward, it's 2021. Are
Yep.
you still down the 72 pounds or is it more, or how does that look for you now?
So now I would say it's about 68 pounds
That's
down.
pretty good then still. I mean,
Yeah.
you're fluctuating 4 pounds there.
Yeah. Yeah. Give or take. But I'm more now, I'm kind of just like living my best life. Like I'm with COVID and everything. I've not saying that that changed me, but I'm more so just trying to live more versus focusing on the diet so much, because back in 2019 I was focused.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, school, diet, mom life, those were like the three priorities at that
Sure.
time.
Sure.
Now I'm just like living my best life, mom life, and school, and then
Yeah.
like the diet is way down further on the list. I
But you
still
just in the
do
back of
it.
your mind, you you keep it like if you
Oh
look
yeah.
at yourself or do you feel like you have more muscle? Because I know we talked a little bit and you said that now you really love exercise. So it isn't
Yes,
so much about the diet anymore.
definitely.
You're moving,
Right.
right? Right. You
Yes.
gradually, you're like up to almost an hour or something like that, or do
Yes, I
okay.
do work out more now. I feel like I feel like I'm focusing more on the workout versus the diet. I feel like more. I like it
See?
now.
So you
Yeah.
kind of you did what you need to do to get to the place, and now you
Yes.
found that you really like to move, you really like your
Yes.
water. All of these are things that everyone says will help you stay on track, is if you get your water in and your
Absolutely.
exercise. And when you get your exercise, do you feel better mentally? Also, is that how it kind of your endorphins kind of keep you going? Do you have more energy now that you
I don't
exercise more?
think I feel like I'm already energetic. People always say that. Do you feel like you have more energy? I think I'm so energetic
You're a
already.
natural energetic person.
Totally. I
Okay.
wake up with energy. I go to bed with energy. But like I feel like I'm more like I look for workouts that like keep me interested. Like so
Mm.
now I like dance workouts. Like I'm like, where is the dance workout? Sign me up for those dance workouts. I think I look for workouts that are going to keep me motivated, because I'm so energized already. I don't want to do no boring workout. I want to keep, look for something that's going to keep me interested, that's going to keep my interest or keep me wanting to do it. Because if it's boring, I'm not going to want to do it.
So it became to be a balance and part of your life. It kind of integrated in your life. You're off when you're off, you're on when you're on, but you keep it as the
Absolutely.
staple in your life. And then you've done
Yes.
other things to kind of build on that, which is your exercise and water. Now, something kind of
Yes.
unexpected happened as a result of starting off with the keto. You had
Yes.
begun to kind of get on social media and talk about it because you were successful and you were excited about it. Now tell everybody
Yes.
what happened on your whole social media journey, just
Oh my
starting
gosh. Yes.
from that. Tell us a little bit about that.
So, in me losing the weight, a friend of mine reached out to me and she was telling me that she was going to have weight loss surgery. And that's something that I was going to do prior to me finding the doctor who helped me lose the weight. And I talked her into not having the surgery. I told her to
Wow.
give me 2 months and let me help her, like the doctor helped me. And if I could help her lose weight, to not have the surgery. I talked her into that, and I was able to help her lose over 50 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And so she said that if I can help her lose weight, that I can help anybody. And I was like, I guess.
That, oh
So
my
she
gosh.
was, yeah. So she was like, you have to start a social media page to help others. And I was like, really? She was like, yeah, you got to do it. So in 2020, January of 2020, I started an Instagram page, and that's what I started to help others because she talked me into it. And that's how my Instagram page started. And now I have like over 5,000 followers talking about the keto diet.
That's insane. That is
Mm-hmm.
insane. And people say, they have, there's stories out there where people become, viral and things like that, but you literally are. What is it that some people are talking to you, or why do people flock to your page, do you think? What do
Oh
you
my
think it is?
gosh. They're like, a lot of people, they'll message me and they'll say, I'm stalled. What do I do? Or what should I eat? Because this is what I eat and it's not working. I haven't lost weight in 2 weeks, or I haven't lost weight in 2 months. They'll message me all the time and ask me
Wow.
different questions, or I'm exercising and it's not working, and I'll help them out. Or a lot of times different keto people have products and they'll want me to try them out and give them my opinion on, if they work, if they don't work, what do I think of them, stuff like that.
So, and because of that, your just willingness and wanting to help others because something worked for you, and you knew how it was to struggle with this your whole life, and that if you could just get some good information, you're willing to share that, and you do share that. And because of that, the numbers, people are just flocking to your page.
Absolutely.
And I think I saw the other day, you're even getting people sending you stuff, like they'll send you something. You're like, thanks for sending. So you're actually getting
Yes.
people who want to sponsor, or you get to sponsor them,
Yes.
because now it's like a product thing. Because
Yes.
now, with the education you're providing, it also provides an audience. And so people want to see if you'll try their product or things like that,
Absolutely, they
or they'll
do.
send you something just so you'll drink it on there. So I think that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, and then and a lot of times two, so I have a fit family on there too. So not only do I get the products, I also get like a fit family. So the fit family is people who work out daily too, and we all check in with each other on a daily basis to say, hey, did you work out today? Okay, like we're all accountability partners, and I
Oh my
love that
goodness,
as
that's
well.
awesome. So that's why you're really liking it too, because you made exercise a really big part of your life, and
Yep.
now you have a whole fit fam that helps you stay on track. And then you're like, oh my God, I don't
Yes.
want to sign on if I haven't done what I'm supposed to do. So you kind
Yes.
of stay on, and you've done an excellent job maintaining. And so, I mean, I know you said this was something that you had seen your whole life. So it wasn't kind of out of the norm. But now that you have gotten to a place where you feel like you look good in your clothes, which is one of your
Yes.
ultimate goals
Oh
and
my
things
gosh,
like that,
yes.
how do you feel about this accomplishment? Like, how does this make you feel?
It makes me so happy. And not only does it make me like internally happy, it makes me happy like as a mother, because my son sees me working out and he wants to work out. So
Oh,
I feel
wow.
like I'm setting a good example for him. So he doesn't see what I saw. He doesn't see just like it's just okay to not do that, because now he wants to work out as well. So he'll grow up knowing that he needs to work out.
That's awesome, because I feel like when you tackled this and now you're passing it on to your son, you might be breaking something that's generational,
Mm-hmm.
and so he
Yes.
can, you broke it, and then he's going to run with it, and then he'll do
Yes.
his for, in generations to come. It's something that health is, a priority. And so I think that's
Absolutely.
great. And Jennifer, I think it's good that your son can expect you to have the energy it takes to have a young man in your life, because boys and the girls do that, they're very active in different ways and things like that. And when you have kids, you got to keep up with them. And so now you can keep
Definitely.
up with him, you know what I mean? And
For
you're
sure.
both healthy. So I really, 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 I really appreciate you kind of running through your story with me today. It was something that I think sometimes people need a little inspiration. And what they can do is they can take bits and pieces of your journey, or they can try it. Because
Absolutely.
everyone I have come on, are doing different things, and different things work for different people. And you're a testament to that,
Absolutely.
because you've tried other things. And then here someone said, let me look at your blood. Let me kind of analyze a little bit. Let's try this. And then you took that, and now you've kind of made it where you're in and on, you're off and on, and but you're still practicing it at its core,
Absolutely.
but you know how to kind of balance it out and kind of live your life. And I think that's where we want to get to. We don't want to be chained to some strict, rigid thing.
No,
We kind of want
I
to
didn't.
live and be comfortable, right?
I
And
did.
yeah,
And don't get me wrong, keto is strict. I don't want to, make it seem like it's not. The diet itself is a strict diet, but I didn't want to be on keto for the rest of my life. That is
right.
not how I wanted to live, for the rest of my days. I wanted the freedom to be able to lose the weight I wanted to lose, but then also, explore and do other things as well.
Yeah.
Once I was done, once I reached my goal, if you will.
Yeah, so I think that's healthy too, because there's nothing that we should stay on for the rest of our life. I think
Forever.
the
Absolutely.
balance is all, very, very important. And so
Absolutely.
I really thank you for that. And on top of that, you got to find some joy and a new friend, Fit Fam group, and some accountability
Yes.
partners in your
Love my
journey.
fit
And
fam.
exactly, nothing's more rewarding than, doing something that you said you wanted to do, and then creating this community around it, because that's what you're doing. You're
Yes.
creating community. You guys are helping each other kind of get through some things, and that's great. So once again, I appreciate it. I wish you.
Thank you for having me.
It was such a great call. It was such a great talk. I just want to congratulate you on being the candidate for your PhD program. And
Thank
I
you.
mean,
That's huge.
who finds the time to do everything you're doing? I don't know, but you said you got a lot of energy. I have to believe
I
you.
do.
But I also think that as a family, your family, like you have a sister who's a lawyer,
Absolutely.
your little brother went to
Yes.
school and he was an engineer, he's in engineering, and now he
Yes.
just graduated, and he's
Yes.
again with another degree, and he's going to be a lawyer. So I think you
Yes.
guys are kind of some hard chargers. Education is very, very important in your
It
family.
is.
And
Yes.
I just wish you nothing but the best. Thank you
I
so much
appreciate that.
for coming on, Jennifer. It was good seeing you.
Thank you so much for having me.